And moving on to other stories now, the United States is set to impose 25% tariffs on steel and aluminium imports starting Monday. This move is expected to have significant implications for the global trade. We have a detailed report on this.
Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
US President Donald Trump's tariff juggernaut just keeps on rolling. Now in the line of fire are the steel and aluminium imports. Sweeping tariffs would apply to any steel and aluminium coming into the US on top of the existing metal duties.
Nobody can have a majority stake for US Steel. They can for other companies, but not for US Steel. I think you agree with that, Dr. US Steel was one of our great companies, and through a lot of stupidity and bad government and also bad management of the company, it lost that luster. But it's going to gain it back, and tariffs are going to help. Tariffs are going to make it very successful again.
Trump also said he will announce reciprocal tariffs to all countries and matching the tariff rates levied by each country. The announcement will be made on Tuesday or Wednesday and will apply almost immediately.
I'll be announcing probably Tuesday or Wednesday at a news conference reciprocal tariffs, and very simply, it's if they charge us, we charge them almost immediately. But I'll be announcing the details of it, highly detailed, and it'll be great for everybody, including the other countries. But if they are charging us 130% and we're charging them nothing, it's not going to stay that way.
Canada is the largest source of steel and aluminium imports to the United States. Brazil, Mexico, and South Korea are also major steel providers to the country. He paused 25% taxes against Canada and Mexico for a month after both countries promised to step up measures to counter the flow of drug, fentanyl, and crossing of undocumented migrants into the United States. Meanwhile, China's retaliatory tariffs on US goods come into effect this morning. The 15% tariff will be placed on US coal and LNG, while 10% will be imposed on crude oil, farm equipment, and luxury cars, including sedan, shipped to China.
I don't think the impact is very significant at the moment. For example, if US impose tariff, we can respond by slightly reducing our profit margins or adjusting costs. In the end, the additional costs will be passed on to end consumers in the country, meaning they will ultimately bear the consequences of their own economic policies.
This escalation follows the US implementing a 10% tariff on all Chinese products earlier this month, signaling the start of what President Trump described as a renewed trade offensive against China. With the tariffs now in place, markets are bracing for a long-term impact on global trade. Shares of steelmakers in Asia mostly fell on Monday, save for those with operations in the United States. The dollar rose and the US Treasury yields ticked higher. With Aarti Rana, Anil Thomas, DD India.
And for more on this, we have Anil Thomas joining us. Well, Anil, how do you think President Trump's decision to impose 25% tariff on steel and aluminium imports will impact the US trade relations, especially with allies like the European Union? As you said, also shares of the steel and aluminium companies declined over 2% on Monday morning.
Well, good morning, Lepakshi. Well, it's, with Trump administration, you always got to expect the unexpected. I think the world has got a taste of it in term one. Term two, it's just getting better. If you see term one, a similar kind of tariff was introduced by the Trump administration. It was 25% for steel, 10% for aluminium. This time around, he's brought them on the same table, steel and aluminium, 25% tariff. Even during his first term, he had brought about some kind of quotas in place, as a result of which many countries benefited, like Mexico, Canada, many countries that had benefited. I think the Biden administration came and extended it to UK, Japan, and also the European Union. I think getting it back, getting these tariffs in on the table is a very clear idea of, first of all, the US looking at addressing the trade imbalance that is existing. Secondly, it's trying to help oppress China, especially on intellectual property, and also leveraging the tax advantages that exist. That's something that Trump has been looking forward to for time. He stressed on it during his political campaign. He's now putting pen to paper and trying to push the partners who are trading with America to toe the line. And I think that's something that's good because it helps his political base in the first place. Secondly, it's also a geopolitical strategy that he spoke about and which he's using to the fullest. In the short term, I think that companies who are importing steel won't have much of an effect because most of these companies would have looked at March, would have supplies till March would be taken care of. If this goes on, if there is no kind of solution that's found out, I think it could have a lasting effect on the global supply chains that could be hit. It could also have a lasting effect on how things, trading alliances, global trading alliances could go for a toss and could go for changing hands. But we'll have to wait and watch. Similar kind of line was taken by Trump when he announced tariffs on Mexico and Canada. But then he gave them a leeway. He gave them a 30-day reprieve. Can we expect something in similar? We'll have to wait and watch.
All right, Anil, thank you so much for all those details.